This is the biggest test you're gonna get in your life. Start the sentence.
It's they for me, not he or she.
Hey! Cause labels ain't nothing for me.
F-R-A-N-K-I-E.
I'm proud of my identity. Hey ghouls, it's Mia here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you guys with another toy unboxing. This time it's Monster High and we're gonna be unboxing G3 Frankie Stein. So I loved Monster High since it came out, and if you guys have been watching my channel for a while and seeing my toy unboxings, you know I can't stand dolls. I've always been an animal lover as a kid, and I was only ever interested in miniature toys and toys that were animals, and I never liked toys with brushable hair. Monster High though was so good that it was the only exception, because I never was into Barbie or Bratz, but I loved Monster High. My first actual Monster High doll was Lagoona, and I remember she had like a lab coat, I think, and she came with like these little three-eyed frogs. And I remember I had the other ghouls like Draculaura, and I had Clawdeen. I had Clawdeen's bed. I remember I had the sleepover set. But after a while I got rid of them, and I never stopped liking Monster High. I just didn't keep up with it. When I went to New York Comic Con, if you saw that vlog, let me know, we walked into the real Monster High. Like, my friends and I went into Monster High. You guys gotta check that vlog out. So in order to like mentally prepare myself and get myself refreshed on this fandom that I loved, I rewatched the webisodes. I watched every single movie. And what's funny is when I was a kid, I did collect the dolls and I did watch a few of the webisodes, but I actually was more into the dolls than the show. So I never actually watched the movies and really like paid attention, but they're so good. And I think what I liked as a kid about Monster High was it wasn't a typical doll line. Like, it was targeted towards older kids, I feel like, and it was more like a goth, dark vibe. And their fashion was amazing, and every doll was so unique, and the message was so important, like love yourself, freaky flaws and all. Now Monster High has been rebooted, and I'm not as big of a fan as G3 as the original, but G3 is better than G2. Now I did see the reboot movie, the live action, and it was so good. I loved it. I love the music and everything. I'm not that big of a fan of it, but I'm very open-minded to it. I just don't like the new show, the cartoon. I'm not a fan of that one. I'm really gonna miss like their accents and the lore like of the whole school, but I'm open to G3. I'm glad that I get to see these toys on the shelves again, because I haven't seen them since I was 10, and now other kids get to enjoy Monster High like we did. So I'm super excited, and I know they're excited to get out of this box. And if you're excited, don't forget to like and subscribe, join the herd. Let's get started. Here we have the iconic Frankie Stein in front of us. I haven't opened a Monster High doll since I was like 10. I've been waiting since Christmas because my friend Rosanna actually got them for me for Christmas. They've been sitting in this box the whole time. And by the way, Frankie, G3 Frankie actually goes by pronouns they, them, and the older G1 Frankie goes by she, her. Now, if you guys saw my Monster Mania convention vlog, we saw the Monster High Skullector Haute Couture Frankie Stein, and I wanted her so bad. But she was $150, and I understand like the OG ones are so expensive, but I didn't want to spend that much on a Frankie doll. So Rosanna actually got me G3 Frankie for Christmas because I didn't get the one from Monster Mania. So I'm so happy. If you guys saw that vlog, look, I still have a Frankie. So we're starting new, we're starting fresh, we're starting with G3. Now from the box, you guys can see it's more like bright, saturated colors, which I'm not really a fan of, but I think that this line is more targeted towards younger kids because our G1 dolls were more gothic vibes and they came in coffins and stuff. So this generation's not as edgy. So on the box, we have the Monster High logo, and we actually have these three ghouls at the front, but why is Lagoona there? That should be Clawdeen. And this is the back of the box. I'm not really the biggest fan of this box art, but it still looks aesthetic. Like, look at their lockers. I think that's so cute. The coffin lockers, I miss those. Frankie's monster type is Voltageous Frankenmonster. And I've actually heard that their parents aren't Frankenstein anymore, and Frankenstein's wife. I think it's a scientist, correct me if I'm wrong, but their monster must-haves are their eye coffin and Screecha, and their monster pet is Watsy. Now, what I always wondered is, why doesn't the continuity of the show follow through the movie? And also, why doesn't the show have these outfits on them? This isn't what they look like in the show. This is what they look like in the Monster High individual character music videos. If you guys seen those, they look awesome. I love that animation way more than the show. I wonder like what's the explanation of the different outfits not following in with the show. But we're gonna rip open this box because I know they've been dying to get out. Wow, I miss. Oh my god, when I was a toy, I always struggled opening my toys. This seems fair enough, really easy. Dude, if I cut Frank's hair, I'm so sorry. Frankie is free, but before we look at them, let's look at the accessories. So the first accessory we have is their little screecher. Oh my god, their hair is everywhere. This does not look appetizing, but by the texture, the pepperonis are like 3D, which is actually so cool. Next, we have their glasses, and these glasses are actually from the 𝙬𝙬𝙪 Frankie. And then we have this Polaroid camera, which I think is so cute. It looks like this is an eye, like it's a monster with teeth at the bottom. These are the pictures that actually come with it to put inside the Polaroid. Now this is Boo York, one of the best Monster High movies, Clawdeen and Cleo, and then it has a picture of the trio, Clawdeen, Frankie, and draculaura and scaris. And with the slit at the top of the bag, you can actually put the pictures inside. I love little miniature things like this, so cute. Now they do come out easily, just be careful not to flip it. And then we have their backpack, which I think is so cool. It's like a see-through electric blue, and look at the little charm on it. It's got a light bulb because they're a brainiac, and a lightning bolt. And what's also cool about this one is it opens. One of my favorite accessories is their eye coffin. Did anyone else want one of these as a kid? Like, oh my gosh, I wish there was a case or something to make your iPhone look like an eye coffin. And on the back, their case has a heart and a bunch of lightning bolts. The heart has stitches in between. That is so cool. I love the detail. And then we have their baseball jacket or varsity jacket, which I think goes really well since Frank is always preppy. One sleeve has lightning bolts, the other's plain. We've got the skullette on the back, and we've got the Monster High logo. Not only did Frankie get a reboot, but so did their dog 𝙑𝙬. I personally like 𝙑𝙬 better. I just like the design, but I like how this one has different body parts stitched together, like this reptile tail, the multicolor of their body, like the different sides, and this ear looks like this piece is about to fall off, but it's probably bolted together, which I think is cool. And I really do actually like the electric wings. I know Frankie sat there and put eyeshadow on 𝙑𝙬. Now what we've all been waiting for is Frankie. It feels so surreal to like hold a Monster High doll. Now these dolls don't come with brushes, so their hair's a little woofing right now, and they also don't come with stands, but I think they can stand on their own. Look at that. So we're gonna start from the top down. We'll start with their hair. Now I'm not educated in like doll collecting and all of that, but I know that their hair is saran, and I think it feels pretty awesome. It's so smooth, so soft. Their hair feels better than my hair. And just like OG Frankie, they have the white hair and the black streaks, but now there's a new singular blue streak, which I'm not really a fan of because Frankie's already got a lot of blue on them. But I like that their hair's part in the middle part's really pretty. They've also got these lightning bolt hair accessories. Their hair's sticking up like they've been electrocuted. How appropriate, oh my gosh. Now I think G3 Frankie is even more beautiful than G1. Look at their face. Everything about them, like they're gorgeous. The one thing I didn't like about G1 Frankie was her thin eyebrows and that they were brown. This Frankie has like black eyebrows, which I like because their hair has black in it, but I didn't like how OG Frankie had brown eyebrows. They didn't really make sense to me. You know how OG Frankie had staples on their stitches? Well, this Frankie has a staple on their eyebrow, which I think is a cool touch. I really like it. Luckily, what did not change was their heterochromia. I love the blue and green eyes. On both eyes, we've got yellow eyeshadow, just like 𝙑𝙬. And under it, we have like a purple/pink tone. Now, I'm not a big fan of the blush. The blush on the blue doesn't look right to me, but I love the salmon color lip color. I do love the bold red color that OG Frankie wore, but I really like this color on them. And then the stitch that's always been on Frankie's cheek is still there. It's just a little smaller. What's different on these dolls is their ears are a little bigger and they stick out, which I think is so cute. Frankie no longer has the bolts on the side of their neck, but they do have stitches. Now, let's talk about their 𝙋𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙥 outfit. Frankie always pops off. I know Clawdeen was the fashionista in G1, but I swear Frankie always dressed better. And it's showing now, even through G3. Now, because Frankie's the new ghoul in school, they've always had this like preppy fashion vibe, which I love. Now, starting off with the shirt under the vest, Frankie still has their puffy sleeves and the collar peeks through, which I think is so cute. I especially love their vest. I like that it's black. It goes well with all the other bright colors that are already on them. And just like OG Frankie, they've got a belt on. Now it's a little like rubbery texture. And it's got their name, and it has a lock, a safety pin. I remember Draculaura actually had safety pin earrings. That was like her thing. I guess it's not Frankie's. And then a lightning bolt. I like how the belt goes really well with their prosthetic leg. And then Frankie's got this high-waisted pleated skirt. I love the pop of the electric yellow on it. It complements the earrings. And on the back, this is how the belt is like safetied on. And this is what the skirt looks like. Now, Frankie still has their iconic stitches, but they actually no longer have the staples on them. They're just plain black and they wrap around the arm. The same goes for their legs. They still have their stitches. Now with this Frankie, there's a prosthetic leg. I love that they wrote on their leg, and the fact that it's facing Frankie, they drew it themselves, just like Harley Quinn when she did her own tattoos, how they all face her, which I think is so like quirky and cute. I also love how there's stitches on the prosthetic. Now if we turn them upside down to read it, it's got a lightning bolt. It has Frankie's name in case they lose their prosthetic, and like in the lost and found, it can have their name on it to return, right? And then they've got a stitched up heart, their skullet, and a lightning bolt. Now let's talk about these shoes. When I was little, I always thought shoes with big platforms, I would always call them Frankenstein shoes, and it's so accurate. Every time I see tall shoes like these, I think of Frankenstein, so it's so appropriate that now Frankie is wearing them. Now Frankie's has these like platform Converse on. The soles got some lightning bolts. They're stitched up, of course, and they have a green lightning bolt, which kind of matches the earrings. I like how everything's complementing each other. And at the bottom, which I think is cool, is they have lightning bolts on them. Now let's see, do you guys remember with the old Monster High dolls how arched their feet were? Like, how did they walk? Let's see if their feet are still like that. So Frankie still got that arch, but it's not as severe as the other G1 dolls were. But what I think is so cool is look at the foot. The detail with the prosthetic, it looks like, or it reminds me of Rebecca Stein, and how she had bolts and like layers of plates on her design. Their shoes are also really easy to put on. They just slip in and they snap on. Now what I love about G3 is G1 was really diverse, but G3 is more diverse. And now Frankie is non-binary, and Frankie is actually the tallest out of all the ghouls. So each doll has a different body type, which we didn't get that in G3. I mean G1. I believe with their bodies being unique too, they also have different face shapes, which I think is so cool. Now just like how G1 was highly articulated, so is G1. They've got articulation at the wrist. Can make a 360. Their arms bend at the elbow as well. Ooh, and that rotates too. I remember that you can actually rip their arm off too. Like I remember my Frankie, her hands would always come off, but it was appropriate because their limbs were always flying off of them. I remember when I was little, there would always be Monster High stop motions, and these limbs are such a benefit to those kind of YouTubers. These are the points of articulation for the legs. They bend this way, just like ours do. They can do a high kick. They could also bend it this way. Okay, yoga. Let's see if they could do a split. Oh, wow. Not all the way. Their shins like also rotate as well. Whoa, I didn't know it could go 360. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Frankie built different. Their ankles do not articulate, but what is cool is now there's articulation at the chest. They can rotate this way and turn their body this way. Oh my gosh, and they could turn backwards. I thought it would stop at some point, but yeah, they could turn and look. And then they could also turn their head all the way around like an owl. Now the one thing I don't understand is why Frankie's blue. I've heard so many different things and I don't know the true answer. I've heard that kids actually voted for them to be blue, and I've heard that since Universal created Frankenstein, they can't be green anymore. I have no idea. Let me know down below. But one of my favorite traits about the old Frankie was their green skin, because green is one of my favorite colors, and I just loved it because there weren't that many like green tones used in toys, and I always didn't like that because I love green. But I have to say the blue does really complement all so well. But anyway, now I can show you guys what Frankie looks like with their accessories. Fair warning, it's really hard to pull Frankie's arms through the jacket sleeves, which is why I had to rip off their hands. But luckily, first off, that's not new to Frankie. As long as you hold the wrists and twist and pull, you could easily pop it back in. And good as new. So this is Frankie with her jacket on. I love the style of it. I love like baseball styled varsity jackets, but I feel like now it's too much black, white, pink, and blue. Let's see if we can put their backpack on. It was much easier to put their backpack on without their baseball jacket, but the sleeves on their shirt and vest got a little scrunched up, but this is what they look like with their backpack on. It's so cute. And luckily their arms are very flexible, so it's easier to put their arms through the backpack strap. Now with their Polaroid camera, it doesn't do a really good job staying on their shoulders like a purse, but you can lift this arm up and make them carry it like a little handbag. And with these beautiful hands of Frankie, they can hold their 𝙬𝙬. I feel like this is the most natural way to hold it so they can tear it up. And with their other hand, they can hold their iconic eye coffin. I think this is the most practical way Frankie can hold their accessories, but they got their eye coffin, their 𝙬𝙬, and now they can film their mukbang. We can't forget the cool shades. Oh, it's like they're taking a selfie. So this is everything Frankie comes with. That's a lot of accessories, plus their jacket. They've got all they need. They've got their pet, a meal, their phone, some pictures. They're literally set for life. The only accessory we really missed out on was doll stands. I'm not sure why they didn't come with them, but Frankie can actually stand on their own. And maybe since G1 I feel like was targeted to more older kids, they probably knew we were going to be collectors. And I feel like maybe this doll's targeted towards kids, and they're more gonna play with them rather than stand them up and display and collect them. That's just my thought process, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed me unboxing Frankie Stein. I'm so glad we're reunited again. I haven't held a Monster High doll since I was 10, and Frankie's always been my favorite. Now, I'm not really a doll collector. I'm still like my younger self. I still love miniature toys, and I love animal toys. So I don't know if I'll be getting the rest. Let me know if that's what you would like to see down below. Don't forget to hit the bell, like, subscribe, share, and leave comments everywhere. Have a creeptastic day. So these, wow, Frankie, you're popping off today.